Less than a minute to go here.
Well, you know, I got a message from our dear friend Joe Piconia. He and Marie are still trapped because of the virus.
Yeah.
And you know, this is going to be our first show. I'd like to dedicate it to Joe and Marie.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. So let's hope one day we actually can see them live.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll guess out here at the Garage Mahal for one of our shows.
Good. Well, it's 10 o'clock and we are live. We're back. What a strange year it's been. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. So we are on my personal Facebook channel, the Guys with Rides Facebook channel, the Guys with Rides YouTube channel. So the last time we did this, I think I had maybe 10 followers on subscribers on YouTube. We're up to 280. So it's starting to move. We've launched auctions. I've got the website up in the upper left. And so we're talking cars, talking rides this morning. We're still coming up with the new name. So my good friends at the Garage Mahal, somewhere in the wilds of Central Jersey. We've got Lou up in the top right, and Nick, my helpful mechanic, in the lower left. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining as always. And
good morning.
Good to be here.
So I figured let's catch up with everyone on what projects they're working on, and then we'll get into some auction stuff we've seen. So who wants to start it off?
Go ahead, Nick.
All right. Well, aside from helping Mr. Samsel with the risky business for our affectionate vehicle there in the top on the lift, which has been fun. We've learned a lot of things of what to do and what not to do, especially when to the tensioner system in that lovely timing belt. But
that's right.
It's been a blast. Learned a lot too. Learned probably that when mine needs a timing belt, next time it'll be going in. We'll see.
That's and I know I'll be right there to help you. That's so, and it'll go a lot faster. So for you, for those of you that didn't watch, if you go to the YouTube channel, we've been documenting what we've done to that car, and the timing belt's a major service on that 85 Porsche 928. And Nick and I tackled it. It's a 32 valve engine, and if you don't do it right, the engine will. The valves will crash into the pistons, so we got that right. And now we moved on to bigger and better things I'll get to in a minute.
Yeah, like a lovely fuel system, which is a conversation on its own.
Yeah. Lou, what do you got going on?
I'm working on a 48 Mercury street rod. We're finishing up some work inside, cleaning up the interior. We have a little problem with a new tachometer. It keeps losing its ground. I may have to run a wire directly to the battery on that one.
I'm really good at that.
So I saw. You know, you could only do a show just on a 928.
I could.
It's like you could talk about the German engineering. You know how well it's designed and easy to get to, and, you know, minimal parts, easy to replace fasteners and things like that. It's
on a scale of 1 to Eldorado, you know, mid 80s vintage cars in general from American manufacturers. It's well, is this one going to be a standard socket or is this one going to be a metric? So it's I still prefer the German cars over at least the Rad era, Malaise era cars. So
number 10 and 13 take all.
Yes.
Well, I just don't understand why they designed. I have the 944, which is based in the S2, which is also a self-destruct motor, interference motor. But they didn't have to build it like that. No. You know, I don't know why they chose to make it as self-destruct. Does that make you pay the $2,500 for a belt service every?
No,
not us.
Hence the reason you go with my 928. It may be underpowered to the 32 valve, but that 4.7 is non-interference, and I can break a belt all day long and not break a switch.
Yep.
That's peace of mind. That's peace of mind.
Yep, sure is.
So I got
and electronics are haunting too. You know, well, you better carry a spare module with you just in case.
And a jumper wire.
And a jumper wire. We made that. Wire. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting here when I start taking this thing to Cars and Coffee. You know,
are you gonna use Nick's trailer?
Ouch! Ouch! So I'm going to order the steering rack and the. So right now, if I were to show, well, this is what I've got going on. You can see in the last video, I'm a couple weeks old, but this is the fuel strainer. The biggest problem this car has been fuel issues. Fuel sending unit, fuel pump, bad gas. If you watch some of the videos we posted, if you want to see how bad gas can get, watch those videos. It's pretty, it looks like, what would you call it? Not tarnish, varnish. So
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Yeah, that's what it is. So the steering rack, I'm gonna order. I found a place, Nick. I got to talk to you about that. I found a place that specializes in rebuilding it. It's about half of what the other German car companies are doing, and as well as the couple of the oil pan gasket and the transmission gasket. So for people watching. The 928, the transmission is actually, it's a transaxle over the rear axle. So that's what gives the car the 50-50 weight distribution. So once I reply, luckily I have trays underneath the car up above so that it doesn't get the Eldorado that's now sold, but sitting in here until the weather gets better. We don't want to get oil on that car.
So like for people out there who want to, do a project, so even if you buy the car very cheaply on the German cars, the parts, factory parts certainly are very expensive. Yeah. So you get in a hole where it costs you more to put it back the way you want it, so it's drivable than the car's worth. That's one of the things you have. Fortunately, you do your own labor, but somebody else has to farm it out. That's something they have to watch out for.
That's right. Particularly with, like you say, the 928. That car, you could be underwater. Now, historically, you could be underwater on that car. What I'm getting in at the right time that.
Yes, you are.
Nick has been saying there's a good chance I'll make a little money on this when I do it, and it's got good enough bones that if we can get everything sorted mechanically, and all basically sell it. The big thing is we upgraded the port contentioner on it, did the timing belt upgrade. It's got a complete tune-up, get rid of all the leaks, and basically clean up the car. I think. You can't put it. Of course, my labor is time lost, but at the same time, it's great content for the channel. Grows. I can't. That's a what do they call that? Goodwill. I can't really put a value on in my particular case. So
you know what? I'm going to. I'm at the. Let's see if I can. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to stop sharing what I have, or unless you want to bring a trailer 928 values. And you can see what's happening with them. So maybe you bring it up on your screen. And I'll leave mine alone. But you could see that top sale was, of course, was a GTS.
Right.
$121,000.
Yeah, well, that's the creme de la creme.
Yeah. So they're but 84 and 928S was almost $57,000.
Right.
That had really low miles, right?
Low miles, yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring it up right now.
So
here we'll. Give me just a second here. Chrome tab. Yeah. So.
There you go.
And let me bring. I can full screen that. I think everybody's tired of looking at us.
Right.
I think I can anyway. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, you see, for those of you looking on, Bring a Trailer is a major auction site, and they to their credit, anytime they do an auction, they keep the data live for people. So it's becoming a nice portal for results that you can do for comparisons if you're looking to get a classic car. And as Lou indicated, I mean, okay, so the analyst in me is coming out. The sweet spot, if I without doing an analysis, the cluster's right around $20,000. But what you're seeing is, as you move from left to right on that graph, the outlier cars are getting higher and higher. And as Lou correctly indicated, the GTSs, which are the last run of these cars, the early 90s cars, these were made through 95. And at that point, these were, I want to say about $90,000 new, so about $140,000 today. And you can see, for years, the car I have up above, that was a $4,000 to $5,000 car all day long in great condition. But the GTSs were pushing 30. A high tide lifts all boats, and now you see these GTSs, pulling six figures. Meanwhile, low mileage ones are still around there. But generally, if I were to look at Haggerty right now, I think a Condition 3 good car, that is, yeah, let me do this real quick. Bring you guys back here. If you guys look at my posts, there we go, and 4.
I'm trying to click reserve not met. It won't work on my screen for some reason.
Huh.
On there to see if maybe they don't have it working.
Huh. Yeah. So it's they're going up in value. Call it the Bring a Trailer effect once again. I don't know, but certainly a good time to play around with the car and at least break even. Which anytime in a classic car, if you can break even, make a little money, you'll do okay.
Yes, so, that's right.
That's right. It's all about the fun. So
after you enjoy it a little bit first.
What's that?
After you have some enjoyment and actually get to drive it for a little bit.
There you go.
I think he's talking to me. Just so you know.
Yeah, right.
Arnie's joined us. So good morning, Arnie. Glad to see you on here as well. So that's the we went off on a bit of a sidebar with the 928. The other Porsche I have is still at the shop. I elected so my 2006 Cayenne. We had a small leak, and that small leak was a coolant and transmission leak, and I feared the worst. Every Porsche, talk to any enthusiast, has an Achilles heel, and the timing belt on the 928. On a first-generation Cayenne, it's cooling tubes in the middle of the V8. And while mine were upgraded at some point on the unit I bought on the 2006, they're leaking again. And for probably close to a year, I was smelling coolant. And the worst thing you can do when owning any car is I smelled the coolant every time I shut it off and didn't see anything leaking anywhere. The problem was, long story short, those coolant tubes were leaking down into the bell housing and subsequently ruined the transmission seal and the rear main seal on the oil of the engine. So I like to do a lot in this garage, but that was one of those where I cried uncle, and I'm glad I did because it's taking a Porsche mechanic 3 weeks to do this. I can't even begin to think what I'd be doing with and how many parts would be strewn on the floor here trying to get what's my daily driver back in. So I've been enjoying the comforts of a 2021 Macan, quite a car. I call it quite a platypus. It's not a car. It's not an SUV. It's a little bit of everything, and so for what that's worth. But
isn't the Macan based on the Q5?
I believe it is. Yeah, and this is a Macan S.
Yeah, same platform. Yes.
Yeah, and for the Go
So
ahead.
if you got how would it like an S5 compare to a Macan or an RS5?
Well,
you're talking turbo or supercharged versus his is just the loaner's kind of a base model, but
no, actually, it's an S with a. I think.
oh
It's
no,
got
it's an S. That's right.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It's no slouch. And this one,
So
go ahead.
Is an S supercharged or turbocharged?
Turbocharged, yeah. And this one has the oh gosh, what's the name on it? It has Sport Chrono. That's the first time I've ever driven a Porsche with Sport Chrono. So those on here, it is if you're a die-hard stick shift person who doesn't like automatics, the Sport Chrono Doppel Kaboom, or whatever they call it, it's a dual clutch automatic transmission. The shifts are so imperceptible. It's an amazing piece of technology. I got schooled on that transmission driving this thing. It just knows, even in automatic mode, when you're going through a turn hard, it knows when to downshift. It knows when to upshift coming out of the turn. Absolutely amazing. So even in that little thing.
Sports Chrono refers to the transmission?
No, there's a on any late model Porsche, there's an analog clock on the dashboard is typically a hint. And Nick, maybe you know a little bit more. There's
The transmission is a transmission different than what they call a PDK?
No, it is a PDK hooked up with a Sport Chrono. And
it's a software upgrade. That there's a button for it in the cluster, and that just like Rudy said, it just it puts the transmission in a totally different, not totally different, but a sportier mode.
It's a different program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it a little different on mine where you go from like comfort, economy, sport plus, I guess.
Yeah, it's
a little more.
Nurse Nancy, I've taken off the line with that thing, and it's like being in probably the closest sensation I can give to people is if they've been on a modern roller coaster when that first takes off. It's just amazing how much it has off the line. And this is just a little Macan. I can't even imagine what like a modern 911 Turbo or GT car would be like. So
or a Taycan Turbo S, you really get the feeling there.
Yeah, right. So anyway, so let's go on. So why don't we move on to the Morgans you wanted to talk about, Lou?
I do want to talk about Morgans, but I also want to mention that I'm in the market for a new car.
Okay.
So I was interested in, and we're talking about sports chrono, that the Genesis division of Hyundai is coming out with a SUV called the GV70 Sport. Nice. And I wanted to see it. I wanted to, you see some things online, but I wanted a configurator. Like I wanted to build it my own way, and I was able to find one in Korea. On the Korean site, a Korean configurator. So I was able to configure the car in Korean dollars.
I didn't know you spoke Korean.
I don't. I don't, but I figured out since the values of it were like I had to convert it to dollars.
There you go.
But it's interesting. The dealers here. The local dealer here wants $500 as a deposit for me to reserve my spot when the configurator comes live here in the States, so I can configure a car and put the order in. So it's not even to buy the car; it's just to be able to configure the car. He wants $500.
Does that go towards the car? I hope.
Yeah, it does go.
Okay, all right. Well.
So I'm going to give him $500 and wait until the U.S. configurator goes live.
Wow.
And then I can configure the car and decide whether I want to buy it or not.
Wow.
So that's...
They think they're Elon Musk out here.
The big brother to that car is for sale now, the GV80. And I know people who bought that, and they just love the car. Love the car. Very plush, diamond tufted leather like the Bentleys have, It's just... And they have a 3D display. It's 3D.
Amazing.
I know, for the technology. The only thing it didn't have that everybody was surprised in, it doesn't have any Wi-Fi. A lot of the upper end cars have Wi-Fi built into them. You can link to it. You can do. They don't have Wi-Fi on it yet, I guess yet. But they sell everyone for MSRP. They don't discount them at all.
Wow.
So that's that. So before we go on to the Morgans, I want to talk about the Hemi Camino.
Okay.
You have it up, or you want me to share it?
I thought you were gonna. You could share it, and I'll.
Okay, I'm sharing it. So you got it.
I got it right there. Okay, here we go.
Yes. Oh, we got another bid or two.
Okay. So talk through this. I'm showing this off. The Hemi RT, which for those of you watching, a Ute is Australian for what we would call an El Camino, or if you remember the Ranchero. So go ahead, Lou.
Yeah, so this was a kit made by Smith out of Rhode Island. High quality kit for converting. He makes them for, I believe, converting the Jetta, and for the actually for the Volkswagen too. So he makes different kits so you can make different size of these Utes, we'll call them. And this one was very well done. I'll just scroll through it a little bit so you can see what it looks like.
Did you identify the taillights on that?
Yes, they're from the van.
I knew it. Okay.
Yes. And a lot of the comments, if you read it, were about the lights. That why couldn't he put, like, you know, different kind of LEDs or smaller or whatever?
Yeah.
And he said it was the kit was cut for that size.
Right.
So, you know, he didn't have, you know, unless he went to the body work.
Yeah.
And did it. The interior is nice. I mean, it's a Charger. It's a Hemi Charger. That's what it's all about right there. And the build quality, I would say, is first class on this thing.
Wow.
It's the only thing everybody comments about is the lights,
which I don't think look bad. And
they don't look bad.
And I want to say that it's not like they went, you know, it looks like they put them upside down and flip the sides on them to make them look a little different. Is that? That
Grand Caravan taillight's upside down for sure.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think could be, yeah. So the builder on this car, who has a company that actually has carburetors and other things that he's designed and built, he modified this kit to make it better in general, and especially the way he wanted it. So he upgraded a lot of things and he modified a lot of things. And, I like it. I like it. I just don't know what it would be worth.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to get a handle. So if any of our listeners out there, if they would make a comment what they think something like this is worth, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm looking for no comments yet.
Well, they may come later.
Yeah.
You can always get it later. So because also the builder's kit is one of the co-founders of Factory 5, which also makes a lot of nice kits.
Yeah, great Cobra kit, very well respected. And,
so
they even dabbled with a supercar, if I recall, right?
I think so. Yeah, they do. They do. So let me. This is a walk around on it.
Wow. So for everyone's perspective, because I got to put my slam in, right? Bring a trailer. The winning bidder on this, if it were 10,001 right now, would pay about $500. Whereas if he auctioned this on Guys with Rides, it would only pay $250. So just keep that in mind. You see these high bids. If that was on one of the TV auctions, the winning bidder would pay over $1,000 on top of the $10,000 bid. So
also, even to list it on Bring a Trailer, they charge.
Yes.
So you have that. Was it 99? Are they still at?
Yeah. Which, if it sells on ours, they don't pay until they sell on ours. They pay $99 outright, whether it sells or not on Bring a Trailer.
Right.
So, yep. All right. Let's see. Arnie had. Dominic. Dominic's asking how, but I'm not sure in reference to what. So, all right. What do you want to move on to? Nick, you want to cover? I'll put the 944s on. You want to cover that?
Yeah. So I found this a little fascinating just because, you know, for those of you that don't know, I have an 84 just base early North American 944. Absolutely love it to death. You know, not exactly valuable. Obviously, over the whole run from 1982 to 1991, they made 163,000 of these puppies, but still have a great love for it. It's a great little entry level Porsche, or what used to be known for many years as the poor man's Porsche. But still just the same. It's amazing to see the values, especially of the turbos, climbing the way they are.
This is
and we looked at this yesterday, kind of the same graph that we showed with the 928 earlier on in our program here. But you know, you have the outliers that are way up there, that are the trailer queens that, you know, have less than 5,000 miles on the clock. And although those are nice and can be appreciated, I'm just still coming back down the scale a little bit. You know, I can remember looking at these in pristine condition with maybe 30,000 miles for a fraction of what they're going for now.
It's crazy.
This example you're seeing on screen is just sold the other day for 32 grand, you know, midway through production here in 86. And I really think just the takeoff of 944s in general lately, kind of like the 928s. And as well, it never hurts when, you know, Mr. Seinfeld decides to jump in and buy one and talk great things about the car.
Yeah.
I think that's really what's helping inflate this movement lately. But
I agree.
It's interesting fun fact about these for some of you that don't know. The balance shafts, Porsche tried to do a better job and make their own, but in the end, they could not make anything better than what Mitsubishi did. So they licensed and purchased those balance shafts through Mitsubishi. So that's what's running around in there, which I think is an interesting little tidbit.
Okay.
But yeah, great little cars. Half of a 928 engine, although fun fact there too is that a lot of those parts are not interchangeable, even though this half is sitting at a 45-degree angle to the right. I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
So.
The 928 is the poor man's Porsche. Is the Porsche that makes men poor. I should trademark that. So Dominic is asking, I believe, on the Ute. What year is that? Do you remember, Lou?
2006.
2006, Dominic. Very interesting. That's a very cool car. All right. So, and one more thing on the 944. That the bids were at $13,000. We were looking at this, like Nick said, $13,000 up until the last hour, and then things just took right off to go to end up at $32,000. So, for what that's worth, and we did confirm it's all established bidders on the site, so it wasn't any newbies just dropping in and spending their newfound GameStop money on a 944. So, all right. So that's those. I wanted to cover. You want to do the Morgans first, Lou, or you want me to do my little?
You can do
thing?
it. I'm anytime you want. You can do your thing, and we'll go to Morgan's.
Okay.
You know.
Let me do the. I'll do the. So some of you on here that have known me for a long time know I was into Beatles, and this one. I had the last one I had was a 71, and so back in the day, the early 80s, they called it the Cal look, and I'm sure Nick is right there with me. He used to get, what was it, VW Trends magazine, I think, and that was all air-cooled back when air-cooled wasn't as cool as it is now, and this is the car. When I saw this on Bring a Trailer, I was like, holy crap, this is how I would build one. And what you see on this is, so let me talk about the Cal look elements, right? You've got the vintage Empy wheels. The one I'm pointing here, but I'm using the wrong pointer. let me expand this here. You go to the one-piece windows. The stock car has the vent window removed, and just the rake. You know, today a lot of the customizers use airbags. This has the right rake with a lowered beam in the front, and but what really makes this car is the paint. And I just could not get over this, what I would call a very sanitary interior. I just love the color, and there it's even showing. There's the pan. If you've ever seen one, it's relatively easy to take the body off of these and a drive-by. And what's interesting is these early vintage, 60s vintage VWs relied on a cloth sunroof, and this one put in a later model steel one. So just everything right on this car. And one of my pet peeves whenever I look at a vintage Volkswagen like this is, and let me see if I can bring it up. Yeah, you can see it on this. I'm pointing to this fender line. It's called fender welt. When you're looking at particularly a Beetle, I always look for the trim pieces. If the car's painted and those are the same color as the paint, you already know you got a what do you guys call it around here? I call it a Mako paint job, but it's called something else around here.
Earl Scheib.
Earl Scheib, okay. Just a stunning car, and it ended up selling yesterday for $16,200. You know, who thought we'd ever see the day when a Beetle would be $6,200, let alone $16,200? But you know, you have to look at it from the perspective you could not replicate it for that price. And I just absolutely love the car, and good luck to the seller on that one. I thought they, I won't call it well bought, but certainly they could not replicate it for what they paid that for.
Wow.
For sure.
I don't know if you guys.
I want to share a different page with you for a minute.
Okay.
Help you take this and see if this makes any sense. I just did a search on eBay for completed listings, you know, sold cars only.
Okay.
On the 928s in general. And
yeah,
there's not that many. There's not that many. You can I'll scroll down. There's probably like 15 or something. And I can't believe that's all that was sold on eBay.
Well,
I didn't put years in for.
See, it's one of the rarest cars they made, because they made just under 60,000 928s over 19 years. You know, it's and
that's it. That's all the listings there is.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
You know, so
they're all on Bring a Trailer.
yeah, they probably are, because look how cheap they are here.
Yeah,
I mean, this is an '86 sold for $1,025, 20 bids.
What year? What date was that?
The last one right here.
Yeah, that's a parts car.
That's
December 5th, 2020. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. This was best offer, so you don't know what they bought it for.
Huh.
That's also December 20. 920. Let's find the most expensive one. Hold on a second. Let me see what the most expensive one was. That one went for less than 16,000.
Okay.
That was sold in January. That one went for. Yeah. That's a S4. That's a. How much the mileage on that? 115,000.
Huh.
This is 11,000. It sold for.
Wow.
But obviously nobody's going to put a GTS on here or anything.
Right, right.
They have been there. I've seen them.
They have them on. I'll have to do a search for one then.
So you're telling me I've spent too much on it?
No.
Well, no. It's a no.
Yeah, look at that. That's a pretty car. I'm surprised it's that little on here.
Where's it located? Does it tell you where it came from? I don't know. No, it doesn't.
I bet that's got a salvage title.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, it's got.
It's an automatic.
Auto check found 47 records.
Okay.
You want to see what they are? I don't know what they are. Auto check.
Yeah. And
you got to buy it. It's not included.
What's that?
They make you buy the auto check if you want to read it again. It's not included in it.
Jeez. You know, on Guys with Rides, we pay for the PPI. I don't understand.
I know. Here, if you want to read, auto check is not even as good, and they charge you. If you want a single report, you got to pay $12.
Okay.
To read about a car that they have listed.
Crazy.
It is,
and it's not like you say on a vintage car like this. If you search the videos on the Guys with Rides YouTube channel, I do a video on this, on these two cars in particular, the '85 928 and the '84 Eldorado, Cadillac Eldorado. I ran Carfaxes on both of those cars, and as good as Carfax is on a modern car, say from 2000 on, they aren't worth a damn on these two cars. You just don't know. I mean, you can get, if I took it to a Cadillac dealer right now, get a record on that, but doesn't tell you anything about these cars at all, other than they've been registered. So that's why anyone looking at any classic car, the three of us highly recommend you get a pre-purchase inspection. And if you list a car on Guys with Rides, I am running a special right now where we pick up the tab on a Lemon Squad PPI, and you see them. I've been happy with. We had one a mechanic out in Michigan, another one in Buffalo. So they go right to the house, do the PPI, and other than a couple run-on sentences in one of the listings, generally they're thorough, and it's not a warranty, but it basically, as with any classic car, at least when you're buying online that you know what you're getting, and you're not surprised when it shows up at your doorstep if you're having it shipped to you. So, for what that's worth. Anyway, so Lou, you want to go on to? Let's go on to Morgan's here. And I see Joe Piconia. Yeah, Joe, I saw that. Joe's mentioning how Jeremy Clarkson talked about the 928 and the Patagonia special, and a few years ago, if you watch, what's it called? What was it called back then? Forgive me, I'm drawing a blank. Top Gear, thank you.
Top Gear.
He tells the story about how he happened to have a manufacturer's 928. And he got the call that his father was passing away, and he drove all through the night on that, and he managed to get home before his father passed. And he not blames, but he attributes it. If he didn't have the 928, he probably wouldn't have done that. So, yeah. All right, so moving on here.
Yeah.
Fire truck again.
Oh, my God.
That doesn't look like a Morgan, Lou.
No.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. This is like, everybody has a passion. So I have a passion for the unicorn passion. Unicorn. Something different. And
dear Lord.
I've been looking at these Japanese fire trucks are all tiny. They're called Kai trucks. I think they pronounce them, I think it's KEI, but they pronounce them Kai.
Right.
And this particular one has a boat attached to it on this one here. Let's see. You want to talk at all about this site compared to Guys with Rides?
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, this is another one that started, and what you have to respect is Bring a Trailer started and did not start as an auction site. It started as a blog, much like what you see with Guys with Rides, if you follow along. And they didn't go to auctions until 2014. Hard to believe it's going on 7 years now. And it started out slowly with auctions. But they had the community behind them. What's interesting about Cars and Bids is it started by a gentleman by the name of Doug DeMuro. And if you don't know the name, he does a car show on YouTube, and he has about 3 million followers where he reviews cars. Actually got his start not too far from us in Philly, and was doing a variety of cars. And anyway, he's grown his following to 3 million people and surprised everyone summer of 2020 when he launched Cars and Bids. And that's the power of having a huge community that you could transfer from one medium into another. And have to commend him for being able to do that. And the cars are doing well. He's focusing on late model cars. So there's a lot of cars on there that you're seeing that, generally 90s and up, because he's a much younger enthusiast, and that's what he tends to gravitate to. So, in fact, if you guys have been following along, we did not manage to make the reserve on a 2005 Mercedes-Benz E500 wagon. It's a V8 powered wagon, and one of the last ones. Candidly, you cannot get a V8 powered station wagon in the United States anymore. That was one of the last ones, all-wheel drive. Did not make the gentleman's reserve, and Cars and Bids is big on no reserve. He really pushed on no reserve, and that car ended up going on this site for $4,300. And it's kind of funny because I thought that's about where the high bids were going to land on that car here, but the reserve was much higher at that point. So it just goes to show the market. An auction, if it's set up properly, the market will pay what it's willing to bear, and that car was a $4,000 to $5,000 car all day long. Well maintained, high mileage German car, and good stuff. So anyway, without that, so go ahead, talk about the Kai fire truck, because I know you want to take up a whole lane of parking spaces.
I can't. It's the depth of the garage Mahal annex is 26 feet, and we have 2-foot shelves against one wall, so it knocks it down to 24 feet. With the boat, this is 27 feet long. So I would have to have the probably the fire truck on the top part of the lift and the boat underneath it. I couldn't even put them together. So it's big, that's for sure. It's only got 2,500 miles. It's a Mitsubishi mini cab. And
are you back on it?
I am. I'm reading the.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, it comes from Vermont, and it says here, Nick, right? Vermont doesn't have titles.
Correct.
Vermont. So you have just a registration.
The registration is recognized in other states as proof to get a title.
And one other clarification here. So a lot of these Japanese cars you're starting to see now, or other foreign cars, you could not import them because they did not meet EPA and all the federal guidelines. There is now a 25-year exemption rule. So any car that could not be federalized, when it hits 25, you can bring it over. That's why you're seeing stuff like this now. So go ahead.
So, yeah, I always loved to read Doug's takes. Mm-hmm. So what's interesting on this thing is there's 5 days left. The high bid is $5,000 from one person.
It's you, isn't it?
Not me. It's not. You think I would start at 5,000? I would.
Yeah,
true. The lowest bid is, I would start. Why?
Yep. Why go big?
Or you wait until there's 5 minutes left or something, or 2 minutes left, and then you bid.
Yeah.
Doug says it's the coolest thing they ever listed. It's a tiny Japanese import fire truck, 4-wheel drive, manual transmission, 3-cylinder engine, all the fire equipment you'd expect. Flashing lights, siren. You have a boat and trailer matching the fire truck, allowing you to get those pesky fires that occur on lakes, rivers, and oceans. I love this thing, and I have no doubt that you, the next owner, will too.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I'll be watching.
I'm with your son, Lou. He's going to change the law so that you don't buy or that you can't buy it.
Yeah, he's like, well, Nick pointed out this, like, okay, so I get it and I take it to Cars and Coffee, right? Then what do I do? With it? It's like,
Here's my comment. Friends don't let friends buy fire trucks.
That's right. And I have to interject. I believe your son Stu is on here, and your counselor says I've got to get that law changed so Lou doesn't buy that.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
Good advice, counselor.
Yeah.
all right, I'm wearing the Venom hockey hat in honor of my grandson Luke, who's a player on the team, and they have a game today. And go Luke. So that takes care of.
There you go. Go Venom. Go Luke.
Go Venom. Go Luke.
And
all right, I'm not buying a fire truck then.
Okay.
We're gonna have to. We're gonna go back. We're gonna get rid. Or at least one without a boat.
I said at least not.
All right. Here's your Morgans.
All right. Let's bring that up here.
There's your Morgan page, yes. So there are a lot of Morgans on Bring a Trailer. You know, there's a lot there, and
if that's not an indication of how upmarket this site has become, I don't know what is. It used to be, you might see one, maybe every 3 or 4 months, and it was. Typically, if the ones you saw, they were what needed a trailer to get it home to your garage.
Yeah, not these.
Not these.
Morgan three-wheeler, 200-mile 2012 Morgan three-wheeler. You buy it and then you take it out a couple times and mainly sits there. It's not really right. So most of the people who buy that are people who would like to ride a motorcycle but don't.
Great point.
So they'll get a three-wheeler and then they'll realize, well, the wind is blowing all over you, and it's hot in the summertime, and it doesn't lean like a motorcycle. It's not as much fun. So you got 200 miles on it, and it sells for $37,250.
Wow,
Matt,
that's a lot of money for an Ashwood frame.
Exactly. Look at this. This turbocharged, it's a 91 +8. Very nice car. Sells for $44,000.
Wow.
I would certainly, and that's got the Buick Rover V6 in it.
V6 or V8?
No, it's V8. Yep. I'm sorry. Yep. Yeah, V8 in it. That's right. And then that's a beautiful car. And when you go through the sold cars, I mean, I never could understand why there's no mileage on some of these cars. 1,300 miles.
Yeah.
So why does somebody?
They're uncomfortable to drive.
Well, they have no suspension. Basically,
yeah, right. Show the one we were looking at the other day that I think is absolutely stunning. The Arrows. The Arrows.
Yeah, well, actually, there's 2 Arrows. One wasn't sold, and
there
one
it is.
was sold.
That Arrow 8 right there.
You're right. So there's 2 Arrows. All right. So there's 2 Arrow. This one here was bid to $74,500.
Wow.
On December of 2019, and so it's a no sale. And I was trying to see if they were the same owner or what the story was. And then this one is from April of 2020, which is 4 months later, and it's sold for $63,000.
Yeah. Wow.
So I have to do a little digging. They have different names as listing people. But it's basically the same car.
I'll tell you what's the difference. You just look at the dates. That one there sold on April. The other one, December 20th. Not a great date. Not a great week to. Yeah.
But he didn't sell it at a higher bid, though.
Yeah, that's true.
So he went to 74. So why didn't he sell it at 74?
Yeah.
It's and all Morgans. I mean. There's no cheap Morgans.
Yeah.
Even the ones that need work go for a lot of money.
This I have to say, if any of you watch the Wheeler Dealers, I mean these cars were basically if you're an enthusiast, you know about them. They haven't been imported here by the company. I don't know, 40, 50 years. There was a company called Isis Motors that was importing them out in California. Lou, you could probably talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah,
and they they were even propane powered to get them to meet federal emissions at the time.
At some point in time, they had to do that. They converted them over to propane.
Yeah.
And so now there's people who convert them back, or the factory will convert it back.
Yeah.
You can send it to the factory, convert it back. But this is a beautiful car.
Right.
I mean, this actually was a well-engineered car. You know, they didn't build that many of them, but
yeah.
And there's a coupe version of this one too.
That they actually when they came out with that, they ran it at Le Mans, and it held up for a fair amount of time, if I recall.
It's got a BMW 4.4 liter V8 in it.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It could be worse. It could be a Porsche V8.
What's your Nick?
I'm wearing a Porsche jacket too. You know,
those are some fighting words there, Mr. Side.
But what's your acronym for BMW, Nick?
BMW.
Yeah. No, there was another one, wasn't it? It was the hell was it?
No, use the most is BMW. Yeah,
okay.
They're just too mechanically prone to problems.
Good.
For me, anyway.
Yeah.
It's like Dr. T's convertible top spring that we have to put in for the panel. That was that if you buy the spring and the thing from BMW, it's like $100. You go to Schwering's Hardware and you pick it up for like $2. Amazing, same thing.
All right, let me read a couple. I think I'm going to do another plug here in a bit, but so we got a couple comments. So Luke says, "Hi, Zeta."
That's me. Hi, Luke.
So there you go. And Joe, Lou's fire trucks are awesome. James May used one of those on the Grand Tour episode. Love the Morgans. Richard Hammond has a 3-wheeler. It doesn't corner at all. Yeah, I can't even imagine Richard Hammond trying to drive a 3-wheeler without. He can't even keep a 4-wheeler on the road most of the time. Have to have the false billet holes painted on the sides to make it look more Spitfire-like. Yep, agree. And Ernie, yep, welcome. Love the Mako Earl Scheib disc. Yep. Okay, so I wanted to show, if people haven't been picking up on it. Let me see here.
Oh, I also want to mention while you're looking for that, I know Joe Piconia signed on late. I want to just tell him to watch the replay of the show because I dedicated the show to you and Marie.
Yes.
So
very good. Well, so I wanted to show. We're actually coming up. I got about 8 minutes left, so I wanted to show the. Bear with me here. All right. So if you haven't been to the website in a while, did a lot of changes to it. We're showing the auctions, but it's more of a landing page because more to come. But got some heavy advertisement coming up, and there probably, I expect a lot of new people to come in. So I want them to be able to find easily what's going on. But what I'm really proud about with the site is we've got close to 2,000 car entries, and if you haven't seen it, and I have to give Ernie credit here on. Not Ernie, I'm sorry, Arnie. But back when I first met Arnie, he said, the thing is, you need to be able to separate cars sold from for sale. And so, Arnie, if you haven't seen that, we do have that finally. And not only that, but posted close to 2,000 cars. We've finally got the database up to a point where you're seeing only the sold ones in when you actually filter on for sale. So, of course, today's Sports Cigar Saturday, and here's a couple of the other ones from a couple days ago. So, wanted to just show that the filtering is quite powerful. It's a lot easier to find things now. But there was also a method to my madness, because this was a question that came up if you don't get the newsletter now. I wanted to show this, and bear with me for a second. Here it is. Let's show this picture. So it may be hard to see, But I noticed this when we were posting it yesterday, and it says
daylight hours only.
Yeah, this is a North Carolina tag on the 62 Plymouth Valiant Sport Fury. It's not Plymouth Valiant, excuse me. Plymouth Sport Fury. And Jimmy in Texas, an avid reader of the site, was quick to point this out. And so I made that the question this morning on today's newsletter. So if anybody knows what that's about, I think I did just before we went to on air here. Somebody pointed out that that's a safety indication. So for whatever reason, back in '87, the car lighting would not work, and you could only use it during the day. So for what that's worth. I've never seen that before. I don't know if that's a North Carolina only thing, but I don't know if you guys know.
I'll see if I can show you in a second right now. Share screen. Let's go see. Share. Okay.
Okay.
So it says here, division correct during daylight hours a certain driving speed. So they have all kinds of regulations.
Huh.
Yeah. Let me see what tells you. This one probably tells it to you. So somewhere there's going to be something about a sticker somewhere on this site. So it can't be found.
Yeah.
I just have to look it up.
Yep, and if no one else knows it, I'm going to reach out to my my daughter.
Good for daylight. Is it good for daylight driving only? What's it say on a sticker?
Approved for daylight use only.
Let's see if we can. And license fees. Daytime daylight driving. Huh.
Yeah, I'm going to.
It's the only state that does that, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to reach out to my daughter lives in the Charlotte area now, and I'm going to find out from her boyfriend, who's a lifelong resident, what that all means. Because if he doesn't know, I'm sure his father does. We'll find out from there. So that will be a follow-up question. So we are coming up on the end of the hour, and I wanted to, so on the end of the hour, we're back on, people. If you want to, I think we would offer up, if anybody wants to have a tour of their garage, please email me at email at GuysWithRides or Rudy at GuysWithRides, and let us know, and we'll get that coordinated. As you can see, hopefully you've seen in the last hour, the technology with COVID has improved dramatically in our ability to socially distance and as well as be able to provide decent content. So if you're up for having us tour your garage virtually, reach out. And we'll just keep going here. Guys, any thoughts? Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Well, I found something on daylight driving only. It's a restriction placed on a person who has a problem with his vision.
Okay. So that was... So now I think I'm connecting the dots. That car is for sale currently by the second owner. So my hunch is they bought it from the first owner, and I want to say he's owned that probably since about 20 years. So good chance that that's what it was about, an elderly owner, and he decided to keep that on for prosperity. So.
It's good. I would keep it stocked. It's only original once.
That's exactly right. So I think we're going to do this next Saturday, right? While the weather's still cold. I think Nick, you're going to be from a secure location somewhere a little bit warmer, I hope.
Dallas is just as cold as it is here.
Yeah.
But we'll see what Saturday.
Arguably, it's colder in Dallas. I've been in the Dallas area when it's snowing, and it's not a fun place to be. Yeah. And
yes, I will be in an undisclosed location with a pristine Super Beetle convertible.
Nice. So, well, I want to thank
everybody. Stay safe and warm, and keep those battery tenders plugged in our lovely vintage car.
Yeah. And if anybody has any recommendations or suggestions or wants to talk about something, if they'll email us, we'll do some research and have it ready for you.
Yep. And by all means, get the word out about Guys with Rides. This is a word of mouth thing, and hopefully you're enjoying it. And if you are, help spread the word in these times.
Especially when it's this cold, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, all right. Thanks, everyone.
I'm going to try to have a car next week, I think, too.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Yeah, bring something in.
And maybe I can get the 928 down, give a virtual tour of that. So
the show's only an hour.
We'll show mine instead.
All right. Nice.
All right.
Thanks, everyone. Take care, everyone.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Take care.